It's the bracket. V'hinei bechinas hatzimtzum. Let me just tell you this. The Rebbe holds that from V'hinei bechinas hatzimtzum to the end of Perek Hey is one long Maimed HaMuzgar. And that in fact, the Bachar HaZetzer saw two brackets one after the other. He thought one of them was a mistake, so he took it out. And at the end of Perek Hey, there should be a double bracket. And the Rebbe has a siche, I think it's a Chelik Chafalaf. It's probably one of the longest siches in Lekutei Sichos. Very, very, very long, very, very, very involved. That explains this Perek and a half. Because when you read this shtickle, the end of Dala, the rest of Hey, you push it, have no idea what the Alter Rebbe is trying to say. It's like, what's going on? What's the mo? So the Rebbe says a few nekudas, and to be sure, I'm still not sure I understand Pshat in the Sikha. I've learned the Sikha more than once. But the nekuda that I understood about this Perek, this shtickle, this bracket, and then Perek Hey is that we know now, we've come across essentially a second Iker point of Shari Yichud V'Amunah. If the first point of Shari Yichud V'Amunah is that Yesh Meyayin requires a Savas B'chol Rega, the second point of the Shari Yichud V'Amunah is Hein Hein Gvur Esav. Hein Hein Gvur Esav. That you should know that the act of Tzimtzum is as much an act of godliness as the act of Gilui. Just like you can't create, you can't hide. Perek Vav, he's already going to speak another inyan. Havayahu Halikim. So it's a third nekuda. In the Rebbe says, Perek Dal and Perek Hey, the end of Perek Dal and Perek Hey are addressing the following question. How do we view Tzimtzum? Because there's two ways to look at it. And again, I'm really not sure if I have a correct shot, but I'll tell you what I understand at the moment. Do you view Tzimtzum as simply allowing the world to exist? Kila Neima La'elam, the Ikir creator is Chesed. Gedula, as he calls it. Because that makes Yesh Meyayin and Savas B'chol Rega the world. Now, but then, if the world would know its source, it wouldn't be a world, it would be the Dvar Havaya. So Gevura allows the world to be what Chesed makes it to be by hiding the Keach HaPeil from the Nifal, so the world exists. Says the Rebbe that the entire point of this end of Perek Dal and the whole of Perek Hey is to argue as Nishtazari. That this Hein Hein Gvur Esav is not simply allowing Chesed to create a world, but that the Gevura is also creating the world. What's the difference? The difference is the Tzimtzum real? Is the Tzimtzum, the concealment of godliness in the world, is that a part of what the world is? Or is it only a part of what the world needs in order to function? The nafkamina would be, what about those tzaddikim who have Gili Elokus? How do they function? If the Gevura is simply allowing a Helam to exist, you shouldn't see the Kechapel Benifel. What if you do? Zog the Rebbe, this is what this bracket, the end of Perek Dal and Perek Hey is saying, you should know that this, the Hein Hein Gvur Esav, it's not the pshat that the Gevura is simply allowing the Yesh Meyayin to be useful. The Gevura is creating the world. The Tzimtzum is real. Tzimtzum real means to say the biggest tzaddik, the biggest gadol, the biggest kaddish is prevented from seeing Elokus because the concealment of Elokus is real. Or to say it in slightly different words, the concealment of Elokus is Elokus itself. It's not just the concealment of Elokus is allowing the Elokus of Chesed to function as a world, but that there's a real union of Tzimtzum. And it explains a lot of things. It explains why he goes into holy from Moshe Rabbeinu. It explains Torah and mitzvahs a little bit later on. And it also explains, says the Rebbe, the idea of Shitef Imei Midas HaRachamim. Why the Eibishter has to put Shitef Imei Midas HaRachamim in the beginning of Perek Hey. So let's begin. And I tell you again, I'm teaching you a piece of Tanya that I don't understand, which is a goinus. V'hinei. V'hinei Tzimtzum V'hester HaChayes, the contraction and the blockage of life, which is the Gevura that's overriding the Gdula, the Chesed of the Eibishter, which creates Yesh Meyayin. So that the world should seem separate from the Eibishter so it could exist. Says the Rebbe, Nikri B'Shem Kelim is called vessels. It's not only the Pshat that it's nothing hiding over something, it's something hiding over something. It's the Kelim hiding over there, the Kelim are Metzias. Or to say it, Nach Tifer, there's a Lakus in Kelim, there's a separate Lakus in Tzimtzum, as opposed to simply hiding the Lakus of Chesed, so there should be a world. And the Chayes, that means to say the Havaya which creates is called Oyer. Right? In other words, the Hein Hein Gvur Esav is called Kelim. And the Gedula of the Eibush which creates Yesh Meyayin is called Oyer. Or as you'll see in the beginning of Perek Vav, the Gedula of the Eibush which creates the world is called Havaya, Loshen Mahava. Hoive means it creates. And Yud made Allah Nitzchis, Atmidius, is always creating. And the Tzimtzum is Elakim. It's not that Elakim is only letting Havaya exist. Elakim is also part of the Creator. And what part of the Creator is he? Creating the concealment of the Eibishter, Kelim. Okay, and he explains. As a vessel covers what's inside of itself. Similarly, the Eibishter's Tzimtzum. Mechaso, masted blocks and hides. Kisoy and hested. He doesn't use the word helam, because helam means that oy mitzad atzmai is hidden. He uses the word machaso master, which means that something foreign. The difference between helam and hesed is helam, the light is hidden because you don't see it. Master means because something is preventing you from seeing it. Mechasa and master both mean the same. So the difference weiß ich nicht. Ha'ayr v'achai is the light and life ha'shafeh, which is flowing from the Eibishter. And this light and life which is flowing from the Eibishter is creating yesh mayayin. And the kelim don't let us see the ayin, which is the keach ha'pel b'nifel and the yesh. V'ha'kelim heineinu oisius, the vessels are oisius. And you should know, shesharshan he'esius menatzpach. The source of oisius is the 5 oisius mansapach. Shein hei gevuras, which are 5 gevuras. Hamachalkes umafrides, that divide and that separate. Machalkes means to separate from one another. Umafrides, I suppose, also means the same. Hahevav akel, the air and the sound. Behemei toisapeh, the 5 different tools that we use to speak. What they call in our society the vocal cords, but in Teirat hemei tois, the throat and the lips and the tongue and the teeth and the palate. That from 5 to become 22 letters, like what it says in Tanya Kadisha, you can have it in Gersa Kedesh Siman Hey, that you have Achahem Me'agoren, Bump Me'asvasayim, Gicht Me'acheg, Dal Tant from the tongue, and so forth. But here's the key. The root of these Hegevuras is very, very high. Butina means a candle, the Kadinisa means a darkness, which means a level of air which is higher than Gilei. Cheshach, chashchas ha'er. Someone once told me this pshat, that's how I know it. And he bring me an eye from Nigle. Yeah, chometz nukshe is made from something the Kadinisa. Found in Masechta Pesachim. She Gevura Allah, which is a very high madrega of Gevura. How high is it? The Atik came in all different pneumias, I guess. The source of Chesed, which in this context is what's creating Yesh Mayayin. Who gam ken Chesed Atikim, also Chesed from Atik. Kidu Yedechein. But you should know that the Shadish of Gevuras, or the Tzimtzum of Gevuras of Atikim. So the Rebbe says the pshat here is that you should know that's not only the pshat that the Gevuras are a secondary assistant to the Chesed. Chesed is creating yesh miyayin, and Gvura is allowing the world to be a yesh, nishtazeh. The shadish of Gvura is at least as high as the Chasadim, maybe even higher, because in Atik, Gvura is higher than Chesed. Kiyadua, ve'en kana makom l'chanach wazah. But the Rebbe doesn't say that word. So that you should know that the shadish of these Gvuras are so high, to indicate that they have the power, not only to help Chesed, to create a world, but to actually affect the creation in its own image. Gvura doesn't only help Chesed make a world, Gvura makes the world. Just like Chesed makes the world, Gevura makes the world. But Chesed makes the world in a way that you would know the source. And Gevura's function is to make that you should know the source of this world. And when Gevura hides over Chesed, he's not only hiding over Chesed that we don't see it, he's hiding over Chesed that the Elokus is taka hidden. And the nafkamina is, amongst other things, by tzaddikim gedalim. Tzaddikim gedalim are neshamas of Atzilas. You had this in Tanya Perek Lamatas. Regular tzaddikim is Bria. Tzaddikim gedalim is Atzilas. And Malachim is Yetzira. They gate is Beklolos. So that even tzaddikim gedalim, when a madrega of Atzilas, the world is ma'alam, master, and alakus, even to them, not because Hein Hein Gvuraisav is helping Chesed create the world, but Hein Hein Gvuraisav Gvura is equal to Chesed, and they're 50% of the creation. Creation is not only a world that Hashem is being hidden from, creation is the hiddenness of Hashem. And one of the nice things, ways of putting it, that you sound very, very like a fancy person, that when you look at the world and you don't see God, what are you looking at? Directly at the Eibishter. Thus is it. The concealment is the Eibishter. Not that the concealment is the world without seeing the source. The concealment is the Eibishter. The concealment is real. And we continue.